everyone, so I chose to research vaping and whether or not it's a healthy alternative to smoking cigarettes or whatnot, and what the causes and effects and problems that can arise if one does vape. So to start off, some problems that can arise, especially in teenagers in this case, is that vaping slows brain function and can make the prefrontal cortex less active as a person's brain develops. So a teenager's brain is still trying to develop, so if they're vaping, that is making it harder for the brain to actually develop fully because the vaping is restricting it. Vaping also can be compared to heroin and cocaine due to how addictive they all are. So although teens and even people in their 20s, whoever it might be, may think that this vaping thing is the new hip, cool thing to participate in, it's not. It's literally proven that it is so addictive that it is compared to heroin and cocaine. So we really need to stay away from this. Now, some diseases and other such things that arise are you have an increase of heart disease, lung cancer, strokes, and heart attacks. That's a boatload. You're just setting yourself up for failure. For what? There's no point. Vaping can also make one's skin age more quickly because less oxygen is being replenished to your skin, so you'll just age more quickly. And now some epidemiology facts. So although you do have to be 21 to purchase these vapes and nicotine, there are so many ways around it. You can have an older friend, an older sibling buy it for you. You can show a fake ID if you have one. There are so many things around it that it doesn't matter if you're 21 or not, honestly. But people in their 20s tend to consume the most nicotine, but people with a higher education status tend to vape less than those who have either dropped out or never went to college. I like to think of that as because they've received more education, so they're smart enough to know that it's not worth it. There is no disparity in the data relating to whether male or females vape more. It's basically the same. It doesn't matter. Any of them will do it. Now, with smoking, there are 480,000 deaths from cigarettes. And for e-cigarettes, this is annually. For e-cigarettes, it is 24,000. So it is a drastic reduce. So yes, it might be the better alternative rather than smoking cigarettes and tobacco. But we also have to take into account that we have no idea what actual chemicals are being put into these vapes. We have no idea. At least in cigarettes, we know it's tobacco. We know what's in them. But vapes, it's like water vapor with a bunch of chemicals, and those are the chemicals that scientists really don't know either what the outcomes will be in the future for people who are vaping. So that's the scary part, is that we haven't reached 20 years, 30 years ahead where we can see the effects yet. So this group, the people in their 20s and 30s now, in a couple of years or 10 years, will see the effects, and they'll be the first to go through it firsthand, which will be awful. Now, there have been public health improvements, thankfully. So, to start off, pretty simple, straightforward. Public health officials simply say just to not start vaping since it is so addictive and so hard to stop. So, we just encourage, they put up advertisements for things against vaping and smoking to reach large groups of people so that they just don't start. And like I said, you do have to be 21 to purchase these. It used to be 18 and they have upped it to 21. So yes, I did say that, there are ways around that and you can have a fake, get other people to buy it for you, but it does make it a little bit harder. So I'm glad that they have placed that restriction. And although this might not seem like a big deal, it actually is after I researched into it. So they have also limited the flavors available to the public. So flavors meaning, so for cigarettes, it's just one cigarette, right? It's just tobacco. But for vapes, you can get a strawberry vape, a blueberry vape, a banana cream pie. Like, they have everything, I kid you not. So they have limited those flavors so that teens are not drawn to the fun flavors and like, oh, I wonder what the watermelon one tastes like, you know? So they won't be drawn and want to try it. So if it's just strictly nicotine, I doubt just nicotine tastes good. So they're not going to want to just try it if it's just nicotine. So that was a big one, honestly. Now some interventions. So we have our primary, secondary, and tertiary. So for primary, like I said, simply just don't start vaping. It's not worth it. Secondary, if you do vape, please go to the doctor or wherever you go and get screened for lung cancer, heart diseases, whatever, so that you can be prepared, because those things are common with people who vape. Now, unfortunately, if you are in the tertiary phase and you do contract one of these diseases or you do get cancer from vaping, you need to take those steps of receiving chemotherapy, doing radiation, doing a lung transplant if it means that. So although we don't want to get to that phase, we have seen that happen already in the United States with people vaping. Vaping is just, overall, it's not worth it. People get a buzz, they say, when they vape. And what? A buzz is better than your life? It just doesn't make sense to me. And I'm glad that public health officials are finally taking this seriously and doing something about it. Thank you.